Hey, Russell. Any good news?
It wasn't a clear reconstruction, but I managed to get some objective evidence. There was a clear hand next to her, just when she was lying on her bed, and the pills were all over the floor. So it seems you may be right. There was definitely somebody with her.
A hand. That's all you could find?
Well, Tom, I'm just getting started. Her last memories are fuzzy, and that's probably because of the psychological stress she was under. The fact that she wasn't alone is a good start.
Yeah, good to know. But we need to know who it was so we can do something about it.
I'll keep looking, Tom. Let's just hope the rest of the memories are in better shape.
I hope so. Did you find anything else?
I saw a lot of other things. I just need to understand her unconscious better.
It's fine, Russell. Just keep looking, but I need something else from you. We need to get into her private email. The password. We were able to hack the words, but there are 3 numbers at the start that we don't know. We have only a few shots at this, so that's why I need you.
Her password? I'd like to avoid that.
Listen, Russell, we're here precisely to avoid tech industry fuck-ups like in the past, and finding the password is aligned with that goal.
You're here because of that. My research had nothing to do with all of it.
Russell, just send us the scan and inspection report as legally required, and there will be no issues, I promise. We're counting on you for this one. The password ends with NAMAS. N-A-M-A-H-S. But it's preceded by 3 numbers. We have 3 to 4 tries with this password at most, so when you have something, call me.
It's not that simple. There are major consequences.
I'll wait for your call. Bye, Russell.
Damn it. Upload is ready. I've got nothing to put in there. Okay, Evie. We need to find that password. But most importantly, how and why she died. If you can isolate memories or dreams that may have a connection with the password, or emotional patterns similar to those of her death.
A deep search is needed to find such patterns. It will take time.
Yeah, I know. I could use some rest anyway.
Understood. Search will run overnight.
Optimize the processes as much as you can. Good night, Evie.
Thank you. Good night.
Home sweet home. There's never enough time. It started updating on its own, stuck at 99.9%. Why am I not surprised? It started updating on its own, stuck at 99.9%. Why am I not surprised? I'm swimming in an infinite sea. I feel small, but at peace. I'm thinking how nice it is that I don't need to breathe. Then a silent, majestic creature appears in front of me. Its eyes show indifference, peace, wisdom. Its movement, slow and graceful. I feel like it's the universe itself, but it moves on. And then I'm left wondering, will I ever be able to follow it?
Fuck.
I haven't slept well lately. This is Marie Tsu's speech when receiving a UN award. It was about AI, the future, and this building's design. They seem to be already using it. She seems to be quite optimistic on what can be done. After her mother died, we haven't been very close. She blames me for not being close enough, I think. For being too focused on my work. Especially during my wife's last days. Carl sent me this.
You know what? I would never have thought that. It's amazing. It really is. I mean, your parents must be very proud. Congratulations to all of you.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Coming back to your work, you've been there from the beginning, am I right?
Yes, we were less than 15 people, I think. It was like 30 years ago, a few months after the company started.
And now you're head of technology.
That's right.
Amazing. So, before I ask you how smart you gotta be to do that, tell me, how did you guys move from being a small web research company with almost no investment into a company that leads on AI and pretty much every other technology for that matter?
Well, that's a big question.
But from a motivation perspective, what drove the evolution of the company? Was there a master plan from the beginning? Did you think you would expand to so many areas of tech?
Well, there are so many factors together. I mean, there's market share, emerging technologies, how what we already do can adapt to other markets, or let's say minimizing the risk expanding. Of course, there was also the huge success we had at the beginning that led us to decide pretty much where we wanted to go. But a master plan from the beginning, I don't think so.
But there is one now.
Well, you know, despite of what all the conspiracy memes tell you, there isn't. Just our strong core values.
Yeah, helping humanity with technology, being the good guys, yada yada.
Well, yeah, that's what we do. Yes.
I just remembered a picture I saw like 30 years ago, showing Bill Gates' head next to an alien skeleton. The magazine found all these similarities and urged you not to use Windows.
Well, I've seen thousands of those, and they won't go away. It's funny that despite all the good a company can do, how transparent it is, you just can't erase that.
It's just part of who we are.
Exactly.
But this leads us to one of the topics that has us here, right? Not everybody thinks you are on the right track, especially with the AI department. And we're not talking about your traditional conspiracy theory.
Yes.
And some of them are influential, well-respected people. I'm sure many know who I'm talking about. But yesterday, a letter appeared on the web, and it did cause a lot of noise. For the people hearing us now that don't know about it, it was from Mr. Carl Chasser, a very respected psychiatrist and scientist. This letter criticized GoAT's latest announcement, which did, in fact, make the world very, very happy and excited.
Not him, clearly.
Not him. Well, he criticized it for completely missing what's essential and saying it could lead to the worst step in our evolution ever taken.
Yeah, well...
And give me a second. Then he says a number of reasons why this shouldn't be accepted by governments, and goes on explaining in a very, if I may say, and this is only my opinion, in a very sort of poetic but cryptic way.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't know where to start answering the letter, because the attacks are so surreal that we sort of would have to study the letter first and try to find out its meaning.
Yeah, it is cryptic.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm sorry to say this, but that is a very pedantic attitude. Pretty common along some intellectuals, actually. I mean, when I try to explain something to people, I don't try to confuse them first, you know? He's more than welcome to participate with his opinion. We know he's doing incredible research about the human mind, but certainly this doesn't help anybody. I don't think he actually understands what we are doing. He is incredibly paranoid, and he is full of dangerous mysticism. He's putting in our hands the responsibility of crushing surreal things that nobody understands, while in fact, what we are doing is increasing quality of life by a big margin, and nobody can deny that. Let me tell you this. Nothing we are doing is secret. Everything is what people want and need, and we are delivering it proudly and transparently. With all due respect to Mr. Carl, I think he has a romantic and dangerous view of staying behind in progress. And pretty typical of this whole go back movement, too.
You know, that's the impression I get as well, that he is incredibly paranoid, and despite how well written his letter is, his reasons are more like theories, based on other, more cryptic theories. Let me read a small section of the letter for those that haven't read it.
All right?
It says, "We are like reptiles that not long ago were fish, exploring the land for the first time, seeing how the rays of the sun blur through the water that gently covers our eyes. While we cannot yet explain or even wonder about this moving painting in front of us, we are inevitably inspired, seeking peace in the heat while we get to be one with the land." Then he goes, "Our greater tools are not the ones we know best, but all the complexity that hides behind our minds. Here we are now, beautiful reptiles, so far away from being human, thinking that because we found the trick behind the blurred sun, we now see far enough to define the range of what can be seen and the full reach of our desires."
I actually like the way he writes.
And the fact that he is a scientist also is what makes people follow him so much.
Well, that makes him intriguing, but does he give any real argument? Does he make any real point? Because you can't argue with poetry like that. That's not science. How much do we really know about his research, for example? I don't mean to discredit him or his partner, but we are talking about empiric, scientifically proved improvements here. That can only do good. So really, this romanticism is beautiful, but empty. When we went to the moon, you could have written a beautiful poem about the Earth and our lost relationship with it. And I bet that did happen. And it would be pretty and make sense, but would it have meant that we don't have to reach for the moon? It's like, well, I don't even know how to answer him.
I agree in the fact that the letter is almost like a poem, but he does give a few reasons, however cryptic. Would you like to go over some of them? We have a few minutes left.
Of course.
Okay, here's one. What they want to do is mix the unmixable. If you reduce human behavior to problem solving, then this problem solving eventually leaks into communication, and this communication is derived mainly from trial by error testing, since it would be an overpowered asset. However deep it might have been, you encourage a unidimensional form of life and you cripple all other dimensions. This isn't a problem on paper, but psychoanalysis has taught us that there is a balance between real accomplishment and effort. And from this balance, many forms of communication are partially generated, art and culture being two of them. If you suppress this with automation, you might end up needing it on a much bigger, dangerous, and ultimately unsatisfactory scale. It's a complex one.
Okay, first, as I said, first we have to interpret all this from thin air, since no references are provided, and then accept the fact that there is no evidence provided as well. This should be enough to undermine any scientific discussion, but let's give it a shot. I think that what he is trying to say is that by improving ourselves with AI, we are basically destroying our social ability, our full spectrum as human beings, and even our chances to be happy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So how is it then that with all the technology we already use day to day, the world is actually a better place than any other time on Earth?
I do think there are arguments against that.
We have our problems, but we are healthier, better fed, more educated. While AI houses do everyday things, we can spend that time with our friends, family, reading, or exercising. We die older. We have never cured so many diseases, and the list goes on. The bad side of things, like global warming, poverty, or kids stuck on cell phones, are not technology's fault. It's us who have to learn to harness its power properly. Teach our children, like we controlled fire in the past, when we didn't even know how to write. In fact, we believe technology will bring the solution to these things, not politics. So this announcement is about the next step of that help. Less problems, more time, and even more energy to think big, to solve maybe even bigger problems. It's like using a calculator. You can do simple equations with your mind, a pen, and a paper, but you can't simulate quantum behavior without the help of a computer. So it's time the calculator becomes something more essential, something your instinct can depend on and use in a split second. It's just a tool. It doesn't stop making you who you are. That's just paranoia, the same that appeared on every other technological advancement. This is no different from other advances. It's just that because it's not an external tool, it makes some people nervous. I don't blame people really, but time will tell how good this is, like it always has.
So, in a way, it's like being able to access more processing power on the fly, like an integrated calculator, but without changing the way thoughts are processed.
Exactly. You will just have more tools at a faster speed without the need to use your cell phone or charge it. And therefore, we may make better decisions and solve more problems.
Right.
It will enhance your creativity and your life in general, but it won't change who you are, your emotions towards other people, and the way you socialize. You can have a drink from time to time and have a good laugh for no reason. It's only a fast access tool.
I want to try it.
You and everybody else.
Okay, well, I think we're running out of time. Let me ask you one more thing.
Go ahead.
Do you have a master plan involving alien species?
Oh, you got me.
I knew it. Thanks for coming, Ted. I hope you can join me again soon.
Just say the word.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ted Baza, Chief Director at GoAT's AI Department, once again kindly coming down to talk a bit about technology and the future. Thanks again, Ted.
It's my pleasure.
Now, let's get back to some music, and later I'll leave you with the great Rosemary and her new selection of today's artists. See you soon.
My wife's paintings. My wife's paintings. Laura's backpack. She's had it since high school. At this hour? What is this place? What have you gotten me into, Tom? I think I recognize this luggage. Sometimes the best work happens at home. Sometimes the best work happens at home. It's supposed to be fall. I should use it more. There's never enough time. My wife's paintings. It's supposed to be fall. I'll consider it. A note from Laura. I'm not happy I was right. I'm not happy I was right. Laura. I wonder what she's up to.
Consists of a lot of thinkers who love technology, but who, as Cindy Smith very eloquently put it here earlier, feel that technology is something that both can empower and do fantastic good in the world, and at the same time gives us new power to screw up in even grander ways than before. So we feel we want to do everything we can now to make sure that technology gets used for good. If we look at not very powerful technological inventions like fire, for instance, we used a strategy of learning from mistakes. We screwed up a bunch of times and then we invented the fire extinguisher. But with more powerful technologies, nuclear weapons, synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, etc., we don't want to learn from mistakes. We want to get things right the first time, because that might be the only time that we have, right? And the way I think about this is to create a great future for humanity. We want to win this race between the growing power of technology and the growing wisdom with which we manage the technology, by investing more in this wisdom. We're going to hear more in this session from Pierre and Daniel and Nick about nuclear and bio and AI. But let me start by talking just a little bit about nuclear weapons, because even though I want to end up with talking about AI, I feel that while we celebrate our successes here in the national action plans and CBRN, it's very important at the same time highlight our failures so far to learn from them when we take on new, more powerful technologies, so we don't repeat past mistakes. And I think that nuclear weapons is a great case study of inadequate risk management. Why do I say inadequate? Since we still haven't had a global nuclear war. Well, let me just ask you this question. Which one of these two people is more famous? And let me ask you a follow-up question. Which one of these two people should we thank for us all being alive here today because he single-handedly stopped the Soviet nuclear attack during the Cuban Missile Crisis? I'll give you just one hint. He wasn't Canadian, right? So that already says something about how little attention we as a species pay sometimes to really important issues. And moreover, I would say the lesson that we should draw from this is that relying on luck is a really poor long-term strategy. The issue with Vasily Arkhipov was just one out of a hair-raisingly long string of near misses with global thermonuclear war. And although we've mostly focused so far about nuclear threats from terrorism and crime, we must remember that there have been also a lot of close calls where we almost had an all-out nuclear war between superpowers. And even if the chance is as low as 2% per year that happens by mistake, the probability that we're going to screw up then within centuries is virtually 100%. So we need to do better than just hope for luck in the long term. If you play Russian roulette long enough, we all know how it ends. The second lesson I think we can learn from the nuclear case study here is that it's really...
Evie, can you take a look at this letter? See if you can match that picture with anything.
Understood.
And if there are any fingerprints or any other clues you can extract.
I'll start with the picture. I have hardware limitations for most other tasks.
Yeah, I know. I'll build a decent scanner soon. Meanwhile, I'm sure my little project can be of some use.
I will try.
That's all I ask. Nothing else to put in there for now. Nothing else to put in there for now. Upload is ready. So, anything interesting on the search last night?
I found 2 parts of her lifeline that may help you, but only one is fully reconstructed. This one is a childhood memory that seems to be connected not only to the password, but also to her adult life. The other one is a recurring dream that started about 1 month ago, virtually every night. I'll need to brute force my way to a reconstruction for this dream. I'll notify you when I have something that can be uploaded.
Interesting. Upload the childhood memory in the meantime, and keep working on that dream. Evie, please activate the control panel Carl was working on. It might be easier now that we have more than one memory available.
Understood. And letter scan is in process. Nothing found yet.
Thanks. Keep me posted. So the laptop was here. She even took the time to write something. So the laptop was here. She even took the time to write something. Night. Joanna, what happened to you? Still just a hand. The mirror shards are making a trail to the bedroom.
Processing. At this time, I don't have any useful feedback.
A spider web. No way out. The water is running.
Processing. At this time, I don't have any useful feedback.
Someone's knocking at the door. Someone's knocking at the door. Her laptop. If it's in the objective state as well, then somebody did take it. A picture of a dog. Following her?
Control panel 1.2 is activated.
I wonder who the artist was. Yep, there was some wind outside. Evie, what song is this?
Searching. I can't find a match in online databases.
Maybe her parents? Homemade cookies. A time warp. The control is near the door. Maybe it works from the other side. A time warp. The control is near the door. Happy memories are always saved in a special way. Another failed glass attempt, although now it reaches further into its surroundings. Glass, mirrors, so many old superstitions exist about them. They are so impossible to interpret subjectively. What are you looking at, Joanna? A toy dinosaur. Children. Is it something in the mirror? Another failed glass attempt. Someone unreadable and the magic mirror show. I can't enter. It's like a black wall. A time warp. The control is near the door. A time warp. The control is near the door. A time warp. The control is near the door. Interesting that this dog isn't in the objective state. It doesn't like when I look at it. Another failed glass attempt, although now it reaches further into its surroundings. A spoon with books. A time warp. The control is near the door. Her own version of things. Such beautiful innocence. There's also that spoon again, orbiting the sun. Interesting. I don't know what song this is.
Processing. At this time, I don't have any useful feedback.
Happens only when I walk backwards. Could be a defense mechanism.
Most likely. In current patch, they are unfiltered by default.
Are they using my behavior?
Yes.
Good. This will give them a much broader expression range. Thanks for the warning, though. Someone's desperate to enter. It seems slightly different than the last time I saw it. The path splits in two. Maybe it works from the other side. Unreadable. Maybe in the objective state. Interesting shapes. Not such a relaxing sound anymore. I would have imagined the subjective static noise to be different at this age. You again. Are you watching TV? Could it be watching TV? It's the same music, but distorted. In fact, everything seems more distorted at this memory moment.
Dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready.
Microwave food.
Kids, dinner's ready.
They were nicer in earlier memory events. Could this dog be subjective only as well? Evie, isn't this body a little blown out of proportion? For it being in the objective state, I mean.
There are no errors in the simulation.
Is it inside the scale error margin?
0.11% off, but valid thanks to accurate matches on its surroundings.
Okay. Still seems a bit too big. We'll have to review those algorithms soon.
Understood.
So the dog is once again subjective. So the dog is once again subjective. A bedtime story, maybe. I could swear it's slightly different from the last time I saw it. I can't enter. It's like a black wall. One of them should be the mother. One of them should be the mother. Microwave food.
Dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready.
Interesting shapes. Not such a relaxing sound anymore. Evie, is there a reason the dog can enter there while I can't?
It wasn't resolved as a neutral space. The coordinates are only for the dog, which is a Class D entity.
Class D. Could it be made into an avatar?
Querying stability. Done. Mapping behavior. Done. Processing. Avatar transform awaiting input. Usability unpredictable.
Dinner's ready. Dinner's ready. Dinner's ready.
you leaving? The light seems like it's leaving the house from under the door. Joanna, is it you? Where are you going?
Kids, dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready.
The path splits in two.
Kids, dinner's ready.
This seems like the shadow of the people that were at the start of the memory. That behavior was extremely aggressive.
Yes,
Could be a defense mechanism based in phobia.
a manageable problem replacing an unmanageable one.
Exactly. I wonder what it's hiding. Another child's room. The dog projects a child's shadow. Maybe it's not a dog after all.
The dog was also in her death memory, in the form of a picture.
Exactly. Could there be a sister or brother? I was told by that detective that she was an only child. We need to find out more about this room and this child. You again. This seems like the shadow of the people that were at the start of the memory. Joanna, is it you? Where are you going? The light seems like it's leaving the house from under the door. The dog projects a child's shadow. Maybe it's not a dog after all. We need to find out more about this room and this child. Another failed glass attempt, although now it reaches further into its surroundings.
Kids, dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready. Kids, dinner's ready.
Starting.
Interesting that this dog isn't in the objective state. Seems close. Maybe in the objective state. Fill in this time warp with this data from start to end. Huh. Ordering food, it seems. 922 Klimt Street. Dinner bar. Interesting. I could check out the real place now.
Okay, how much? 20. Klimt Street 922 dinner bar. Hey, notice a pizza. I'm starting. You will like pepperoni, so I'll get that one plus one with tomato, okay? I guess. Okay, how much? 20. Klimt Street 922 dinner bar. Hey, notice a pizza. I'm starting. You will like pepperoni, so I'll get that one plus one with tomato, okay? I guess. Okay, how much? 20. Klimt Street 922 dinner bar. Hey, notice a pizza.
So the dog is once again subjective.
Green Street 922.
The dog isn't here.
Green Street 922.
Nothing else to put in there for now. Laura?
Hey, Dad. Sorry for crashing by without telling you. My cell phone was dead.
Is everything all right?
Well, me and Chris had a fight, and I left him.
Oh. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. You were right, of course. I need to think things through first. Did you see my note?
Yes, I saw it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dad. You were right. I hope you don't mind me staying a few days.
It's okay. Let's talk when I get home.
Oh, I'll be going out with a friend tonight. I promise I won't wake you up. It's just that we haven't seen each other for a while, and I need someone to talk to. But we'll see each other tomorrow morning, probably.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Thanks, Dad. And I promise I won't be a nuisance.
It's okay, Laura.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Laura.
Russell?
Do you know anything about her parents? Or another child, maybe?
Well, she was an only child, and I think the report said she didn't talk with her parents much. Also, they live overseas. How exactly are they important?
Well, her past seems to have affected her last days somehow. Not directly, but there seems to be a connection.
Russell, I need you to focus on who killed her. I know she must have been a very interesting person, with this and that childhood trauma that you're so eager to decipher. But we need to know her password, and who killed her. Concrete facts, Russell.
I know, but finding the connections will lead to the facts. Just tell me if you find anything interesting regarding the family.
And you tell me if you find anything interesting about her death.
Okay. Goodbye, Tom.
Bye, Russell.
Hello.